The CEO grabbed the mic and declared his love for me on stage. My secret life exploded into chaos instantly. Cameras flashed like fireworks in the packed auditorium of Sterling Tech's annual shareholder gala in downtown Manhattan. Marcus Sterling, the 35-year-old face that graced every business magazine cover, stood under the spotlight in his charcoal Tom Ford suit, tie loosened just enough to look dangerously human. His voice, that velvet baritone that closed billion-dollar deals, cracked only once. For years I've hidden who I am. Tonight, I stop. Ethan Reeves isn't just my executive assistant. He's the reason I smile. He's the man I love. The room froze. 2,000 investors, analysts, and journalists sucked in a collective breath. My knees buckled. I clutched the edge of the stage wing, heart hammering so loud I swore the microphones picked it up. Marcus turned, those steel-gray eyes locking on mine exactly the way they had in the quiet hours after midnight board meetings when no one else was watching. But this wasn't midnight. This was primetime CNBC. Security rushed forward as questions erupted. "Mr. Sterling, are you coming out? Is this a stunt? Mr. Reeves, did you know?" I couldn't answer. My tongue stuck to the roof of my mouth. Marcus stepped off the podium, ignored the frantic handlers, and walked straight to me. His hand found mine, warm, steady, public. The touch that had once been our safest secret now felt like a live wire. We barely made it to the green room before the first text hit my phone. "Mom, Ethan, honey, turn on the TV. Tell me this is a joke." "Dad," a single question mark. My sister sent a gif of a cartoon character fainting. I stared at the screen until Marcus gently took the phone and powered it off. "Breathe," he said. "We knew this day would come. Just not like this." But I hadn't known. Not really. 6 months ago, I was still the invisible guy, fetching coffee and color-coding spreadsheets. Marcus had noticed me the day I corrected a Japanese translation during a conference call and saved a $20 million contract. After that, late nights turned into shared Thai takeout on the roof terrace. Then stolen kisses in the elevator between floors 40 and 41. Then weekends as Hampton's house where the ocean drowned out every worry. He called it our bubble. I called it survival. Now, the bubble had burst in front of Wall Street. Security hustled us into a black Escalade. Marcus kept his arm around my shoulders the entire ride to his penthouse on Central Park West. Reporters already lined the sidewalk. Flashbulbs popped against the tinted windows like angry fireflies. Inside the marble foyer, he finally let go, exhaling as if he'd been holding that breath since the first syllable left his lips. "I'm sorry for the ambush," he said, but I couldn't let another earnings call pass with me lying to the world about the only real thing in my life. I sank onto the leather sofa, still in my cheap suit from Macy's. Marcus, my family, my career, everything just imploded on live television. He knelt in front of me, thumbs brushing my knuckles. "Your career is about to skyrocket, and your family will come around. They always do when they see the truth." His smile, the one the cameras never caught, was soft and only for me. That smile had been my anchor for months. Tonight it felt like the only steady thing left. But anchors can drag you under when the storm hits. By morning, the internet had dubbed us Sterling's Smile. Tabloids ran side-by-side photos. Marcus on the cover of Forbes looking untouchable, and a blurry paparazzi shot of us leaving the gala hand in hand. Twitter exploded with everything from love wins to death threats. My inbox filled with interview requests and one very official email from HR. "Please report to legal at 9 a.m. regarding policy compliance." Marcus made coffee, black for him, oat milk for me, and slid the mug across the quartz island. We face it together. No more hiding. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But as I stared at the city waking up below us, I couldn't shake the feeling that the world outside this penthouse had already decided who we were allowed to be. And it wasn't two men holding hands in the light. The legal meeting lasted exactly 17 minutes. Sterling Tech's compliance officer, a woman named Carla with a face like a disappointed principal, slid a revised employment contract across the table. "Congratulations," she said dryly. "You're now officially the CEO's partner. We've updated the nepotism clause. Your title changes to Senior Strategy Advisor. Salary triples. but any public statement must be pre-approved. Marcus waited for me in the hallway, arms crossed, jaw tight. They wanted to fire you to save face. I reminded them whose name is on the building. I laughed, but came out shaky. Marcus, I didn't want special treatment. I wanted to earn it. You already did. Every late night. Every risk you took on the Tokyo deal. This is just paperwork catching up to reality. He pulled me into a quick hug right there between the glass walls where anyone could see. The old me would have panicked. The new me, still learning, leaned in. That afternoon, we flew to San Francisco for an emergency investor briefing. On the private jet, Marcus finally told me how the confession happened. I watched the boardroom video from last month. You stood up to those hedge fund guys when they tried to kill the sustainability project. You looked straight into the camera and said, "If we don't build a future we believe in, we don't deserve one." I realized I was tired of hiding the future I believe in. I stared at him across the aisle. You risked the company valuation for me. I risked the version of me the world wanted. The real me was already yours. The plane touched down and the chaos resumed. A protest group waited outside the hotel with signs that read, "Sterling equals sin." Marcus ignored them, but I couldn't. One sign had my high school yearbook photo photoshopped with devil horns. My stomach turned. Inside the suite, he ordered room service and ran a bath. While the tub filled, he sat on the edge and talked about his own coming-out story, the one he'd never told anyone. Strict military father in Texas. Mother who still sent Christmas cards addressed only to Marcus. College in California where he learned to bury everything under ambition. "I built an empire so no one could touch me," he said. "Then you walked in with your color-coded folders and ruined the whole plan." I stepped into the water and he followed, pulling me against his chest. No words after that. Just the quiet rhythm of his heartbeat against my back and the city lights flickering through the steamed glass. For one night, the world felt far away. But mornings bring headlines. Back in New York, my sister flew in unannounced. Lauren stood in the lobby of my old apartment building because I still hadn't officially moved into the penthouse, holding a suitcase and a look that could melt steel. Mom cried for 3 days. Dad hasn't spoken. "You could have warned us, Ethan." I didn't know it was coming, I admitted. He just did it. Lauren dropped the suitcase. He did it because he loves you. But love doesn't pay the mortgage on Mom and Dad's house when half the town stops shopping at their hardware store. The words landed like punches. I hadn't thought about the ripple effects beyond Manhattan. Small-town Ohio didn't care about billion-dollar valuations. They cared about Sunday potlucks and church pews. Marcus appeared at the door, having followed me downstairs. He introduced himself to Lauren with the same charm that won over senators, then quietly offered to fly my parents to New York for a private dinner. No cameras, just family. Lauren studied him for a long moment. "You really mean it, don't you?" Every word. She hugged me hard before leaving. "Fix this, little brother, or I swear I'll drag you home myself." That night, Marcus and I sat on the terrace with a bottle of 2015 Brunello. He traced the rim of his glass. "Your family's my family now. We'll earn them." I wanted to believe that too. But somewhere between the protest signs and my sister's suitcase, doubt had planted a seed. What if love wasn't enough when the whole world was watching? The seed grew into a full-blown argument 3 weeks later. We were in Chicago for the Consumer Electronics Show. Marcus had just finished a keynote that earned a standing ovation until the Q&A. A reporter from a conservative outlet asked, "Mr. Sterling, how do you reconcile your lifestyle with the family values image your company markets?" Marcus answered calmly. I stood off stage, fists clenched so tight my nails left crescents in my palms. Later, in the hotel bar, I snapped. You didn't have to smile at him. You didn't have to thank him for the question. Marcus set his scotch down. "If I get angry, they win. I'm playing the long game, Ethan. The long game is costing my parents their business." Dad called today. 3 regular customers canceled orders because of this Sterling scandal. He reached for my hand. I pulled away. Maybe I should go back to Ohio for a while. Give everyone space. The hurt in his eyes was instant. Space. Or escape. We didn't speak again until the plane home. The silence stretched like a rubber band ready to snap. At the penthouse, he disappeared into his study. I paced the living room, scrolling through the latest articles. One gossip site had dug up my college ex-girlfriend. Yes, I tried that route once, and quoted her saying, "Ethan always seemed searching." The comments beneath were vicious. Marcus emerged at 2 a.m., hair rumpled, eyes red. "I'm sorry. I keep forgetting that while I've had decades to build armor, you've had 6 months." He sat beside me on the couch. "Tell me what you need." "Tom," I whispered, "and maybe proof that this won't destroy everyone I love." He nodded once, then stood. "Tomorrow I'm flying to Ohio. Alone. I'll talk to your parents man to man." I stared at him. "You do that? For you? I'd do anything." The next morning, he left before sunrise. I spent the day in the office, trying to focus on quarterly projections and failing. Every time my phone buzzed, I jumped. At 6 p.m., Marcus texted a photo. Him and my dad on the back porch, both holding beers, Dad actually smiling. The caption read, "Your father says the hardware store is safe. He also says I owe him a new grill for the trouble." Relief flooded me, so hard I had to sit down. But relief came with a shadow. Marcus had fixed one problem by becoming the hero again. I was still the guy who needed saving. That night, when he returned, we didn't talk about Ohio. We simply held each other on the terrace until the city lights blurred. Yet the doubt seed had grown roots. I started wondering if Marcus's love was protection or possession. The roots tangled into betrayal 2 months later. My college roommate, Jared, now a junior analyst at Sterling Tech, had always been supportive, or so I thought. One Friday, he invited me for drinks after work. "Just us," he said. "Catch up." We met at a quiet speakeasy in the village. 2 beers in, Jared leaned across the table. "Look, man, I hate to do this, but the board is nervous. They're quietly shopping for a new CEO, someone less controversial." I froze. "Marcus doesn't know. He will if you don't warn him." "I'm risking my job telling you." Jared slid a USB drive across the table. "Emails. Internal memos. They're framing it as a values issue." I took the drive home in a daze. Marcus was in Tokyo until Tuesday. I spent the weekend reading every line. The language was clinical, cold, brand risk, shareholder pressure, alternative leadership candidates. One name kept appearing, Victoria Lang, a rival from our biggest competitor. Monday morning, I marched into the boardroom uninvited. The 8 men and 2 women around the table looked up in surprise. I played the recordings I'd made of the emails read aloud. "You're planning to oust him because he loves me, not because of performance, because of who he kisses." Silence. Then Carla, the compliance officer, sighed. "Ethan, this is business." "No, this is fear." I walked out shaking. That afternoon, Marcus's plane landed. I met him at the airport and told him everything. His face went very still. "Jared?" "Yes." Marcus exhaled slowly. "I'll handle it." What he handled was swift and surgical. Jared was gone by Wednesday. The board received a memo from Marcus himself. Any further attempt to undermine leadership would result in immediate share liquidation on his part, enough to tank the stock. The rebellion died overnight. But victory tasted bitter. Marcus had protected us again, yet I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd become the weakness in his empire. At dinner that night, he reached for my hand across the candlelight. "We're stronger together." I smiled back, but inside something cracked. Love was becoming a battlefield, and I was the civilian caught in the crossfire. The battlefield shifted to my own mind during a weekend in Aspen. Marcus had surprised me with a private cabin and no Wi-Fi. For 3 days we hiked, cooked, and talked about everything except work. On the last night, snow falling softly outside, he pulled a small velvet box from his jacket. Inside was a simple platinum band. "Not a proposal yet," he said quickly. "Just a promise. When you're ready. When the world is ready." I stared at the ring until it blurred. "Marcus, I love you, but I don't know if I can be the man who stands beside you without losing pieces of myself." He set the box down. "Then we wait. As long as it takes." The honesty in his voice undid me. That night, we lay in front of the fireplace, and I finally told him my deepest fear. That one day he would wake up and realize the cost of loving me was too high. He listened without interrupting, then kissed my forehead. "The cost of not loving you is higher. I already paid it for 35 years. We flew back to New York on Sunday. Monday brought the twist I never saw coming. Victoria Lang held a press conference. She announced she was launching her own tech firm and hinted that several sterling executives had already defected. The stock dipped 3%. Marcus called an emergency all hands. Standing on the same stage where he had first confessed his love, he looked straight into the camera. If anyone wants to leave because of who I love, the door is open. But know this, the future belongs to companies that choose courage over comfort. The stock rebounded by close of day. That evening I found Marcus on the terrace, staring at the skyline. For the first time he looked tired. I stepped behind him and wrapped my arms around his waist. You don't have to carry everything alone. He turned, eyes shining. I don't want to. That's why I need you to choose me. Not because the world is watching, but because you want this life. The question hung between us like the first snowflake in Aspen. I took his hand and slipped the platinum band onto my finger. It fit perfectly. I choose us. Every messy, public, complicated part. His smile, the real one, broke across his face like sunrise. 6 months later the world had changed just enough. We stood on the same gala stage, but this time side by side. Marcus wore the same charcoal suit. I wore a navy one he'd picked out for me. The audience was expectant rather than shocked. My parents sat in the front row, Dad wearing the new grill apron Marcus had sent as a joke, Mom dabbing her eyes. Lauren gave me a thumbs up. Marcus spoke first. A year ago, I risked everything for love. Today, I stand here prouder than ever because the man beside me risked everything right back. He turned to me. Ethan, you taught me that strength isn't hiding. It's showing up. I took the mic. My voice shook only a little. I used to think love was something that happened in the shadows. Marcus showed me it belongs in the light. And I'm never going back. The applause was thunderous. Later, on the dance floor under soft golden lights, Marcus pulled me close. Still scared, he whispered. Terrified, I admitted. But terrified with you feels like flying. We swayed to the music, his smile pressed against my temple. The smile the whole world now knew was mine. Cameras clicked, but we didn't care. The journey had been brutal. Misunderstandings with family, corporate betrayal. Nights I almost walked away. Yet every scar had carved space for something stronger. Outside, New York glittered. Inside, 2 men who had once hidden now danced openly. The boy from Ohio and the CEO who once owned the world had learned the same lesson. The bravest thing you can do is let yourself be loved exactly as you are. And that love finally was enough. In the end, this story isn't about perfect endings or flawless heroes. It's about 2 ordinary men who stumbled through fear, prejudice, and self-doubt until they chose each other anyway. The real lesson? Love doesn't erase the world's cruelty, but it gives you the courage to face it together. Sometimes the bravest smile is the one you finally stop hiding. If you're reading this and carrying your own secret, remember, the stage is waiting, and someone out there is already saving a smile just for you. Keep going. The light feels terrifying until you step into it.